All right, gentlemen, the requisite 15 minutes of summer is over and now back to winter. So doing some maintenance on the snowblower here, and notice that the skid plates, are also called skid shoes, have completely worn through. There's supposed to be a bottom plate here, and the whole point of these skid plates is to make sure that your bottom part of your runner here, that the part that scoops up snow, doesn't get worn down. So these are supposed to be sacrificial. These are the sacrificial lambs of the snowblower, and they wanted like $15, $20 a piece for one, and I thought, I'm not going to pay that. So I'm going to make my own. And what I decided to do is I took my old one and brought it over here. I got a pile of just random steel laying around, and I decided to make myself a template, right? Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold over 3 pieces here. Very crudely, there is no prettiness to this, and I don't really frankly care how it looks. I'm sure I could do this in stainless, and I thought about a million ways I could do it, but frankly, they're going to rust, and they're going to rust anyway, so I don't really feel like working with stainless because it's a pain in the butt. And this should probably last me at least a few years anyway, so I could do some power tools. So why waste the 30-40 bucks a pair that it's going to cost to fix her? But make your own, and yeah, let's get her started. Alright, now that I got my rough cut done, I've got my little template and got my bandsaw set to table mode. And, hey, any day you get to use power tools instead of going to work, yeah, hey, pretty good day in my opinion. So, might as well start making something. Here we go. Alright, so, not missing any fingers or anything from the bandsaw, which is good. You see our rough cutout. Is it supposed to be perfect? No, I don't really care, because frankly, it's going on a snowblower, and it's designed to be rusted through anyway, but I will paint it and prime it just to keep it lasting longer. But you can kind of see the rough idea of what I'm going for. We've got our rough shape here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this part up, and then kind of tack weld these, because I wanted to use a welder today. So I'm going to take this over to the grinder, clean up some of these edges a little bit, round this off a bit, and then we'll get to hole making. Alright, got my piece in here, and I'm going to go ahead and I've marked my holes that I've got in my slots that I'm going to drill. I'm just going to drill a bunch of holes and then take a file to it in a second. But at this point, you're probably wondering, well, Eric, you could have just bought a piece of angle iron and, cut it off and drilled some holes and it would have been fine. Yeah, I know that. But I don't have any angle iron with me. And B, I get to use a welder. So that's more fun than just going buying some angle iron. So, and I didn't want to leave the house because it's my day off. So why would I leave the house? It's more fun building stuff. Got my laser. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, like that. Yeah, all right. Don't need it. All right, here we go. There she be. All right. I decided against doing the multiple hole mode, and I'm just going to get an angle grinder and just connect the dots here. All right, next piece, I'm just going to take my most dangerous thing in the tool, which is second only to this guy, but I'm going to go ahead and grind this in there. And I know there's probably a million other ways to do this, but you know what? You're not my real dad, okay? I figured that out a long time ago. You can't tell me what to do. So, both sides are drilled, both sides are cut, and you can kind of tell that my lines weren't perfectly straight, and then I got a little nutso on this side. But, proof's in the pudding. See if she works, right? She goes to the full travel. Does she go the full travel? Let's see. Goes up. She goes the full travel. Up and down, just fine. I might go in and just nick that one a little bit, but otherwise, it works. Let's get to bending this into shape. All right, phase 17. I'm gonna bend this over, I'm gonna bend these other tabs, and I'm gonna tack weld these together. Paint it, call it good, and I have my line from before, so they should be pretty darn close. And you're probably thinking, well, hey, you know, it'd be a lot better if you had a sheet metal bender or a brake. And you would be right. I do not have one of those tools. So, this is the best I've got, and the best I'm gonna be able to do for the moment. So, I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room to make that bend. There we go. All right, got the rough shape, close enough. Like I said, these are supposed to rust anyway. Who cares if they're pretty or not? They're gonna work, that's the important part. So let's go ahead and bend up some ears. All right, after some beating and banging and making some loud noises, what we've got there, pretty darn close. So I may just round this edge here just to add some rigidity, but this is 1/8" plate, so I'm not super worried about it. And it's ice and snow, who cares? So I'm just gonna go ahead and tack weld these up, and then we'll throw it in the blaster. Yeah, it's a bit rough, but hey, we'll throw it in the blaster and then paint her up and see if she fits. All right, there she is. Welded her to the bottom. Come on, focus. Focus, there we go. So ground it down a little bit to make it smoother so it glides along the snow and hits little chips. And I know you're thinking, oh, you know, if you have to grind it, that don't make you a welder, that makes you a grinder. Hey, I got bad news for you. I ain't either one of those, so I don't care. I'm just gonna knock all the junk off this, give it some paint, and yeah, call this one good. I get to do this all over again, but my angles are okay, not super great, but you know, there's just eyeballing it, but yeah, who cares? End of the day, yeah, let's throw out the blaster and get her done. All right, through the magic of editing, I'm able to have my finished piece here. I decided to, it's the only paint I had around, and it was an enamel, so it would last a little bit longer, but anyway, here's my final piece. I have a couple slices here so that I go over ice and that sort of thing. And the whole idea behind this whole thing was not to pay any money, so I just used the paint I had, and the welder and, you know, other tools I had around in the shop. Is it pretty? No, I don't care. And will it get the job done? Yeah, it'll do what it's meant to do. So let's go ahead and make sure she fits up here. This is a good sign, boys. This is a good sign. Could I use new hardware? Sure. Again, 0 doll hairs. That is what we're doing here. Look at that. Let's give her the old ugga ugga. That's 2 ugga uggas if you're counting. Boom! She's done. Anyway, thanks a lot. Have a good one.